Hello, everyone. This is MC Deck Discussions, and I'm Abby Small. And today I thought I'd do a little something different, which is I wanted to give 3 quick tips on when you're building decks with using MarvelCDB, how you can find cards that you're looking for. So let's go ahead and pretend to create a deck. So I'm going to go to New Deck up here on the right. And I'm going to go ahead and do a silk deck. So let's use Control F for find, type in silk. Okay, so here we go. Create a silk deck. All right, and why don't I zoom in a little bit? I want you to be able to see this well. Oops, a little too much. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and do this now. First, before I even start showing you things, know that if you forget what I'm showing you, when you're here building a deck, if you go to the right side, you'll see this filter help. Now let me zoom out just a little bit because I want to show you, usually it shows up totally on the right like this. Okay? So that's where you'll see these various, tools, shortcuts, so that you know how to use them. So let me zoom back in again. So I just wanted you to know where they are. So let me click on that, and you can see there are these various letters here. And what you do is you use that letter and then put a colon after it with no spaces, and then you can start finding the things you want to. So right now, this is a silk deck, right? So let's just suppose I want to find as many web warriors as I can. So you'll notice here it says K is the traits. So I'm going to type in K colon and then start typing in web warrior. Again, no spaces. And you can see here all the ones who in their traits have web, which of course is going to be the web warriors. So you can see we have ghost spider here, and if you look at the top, you can see, oh yeah, that says web warrior, right? So I could add, one of those to my deck, and then I can even click on it now and be able to see the details. All right, so you can see all your web warriors here. We've got a whole bunch of choices. Now, I haven't clicked on anything here yet, ally, event, side scheme, resource, support, upgrade. Once I do, it'll narrow it down to that, and then I don't know how. Maybe somebody can tell me, maybe somebody knows how to do this, but once I click on one of those, it then narrows it down to just that category, and you have to then choose a category. I haven't figured out a way to unclick a button, but if somebody knows that, I'd appreciate it if they mention it in the chat. Now, like I said, these tips are going to be just to find the kind of cards you want to add to a deck. I think I'm going to put out another one that also is when you're doing a write-up, how to do the formatting for your write-up. Things like, how do you make things in bold? How do you put some underlines to separate categories? How do you put bullet points? So I'll put out a separate one on that for those who are interested in that. But this one's just, hey, you're trying to build a deck. How can you use MarvelCDB to help you out with that? All right, so I'll add Ghost Spider, Madam Web, SPDR, so Spider, and a few others. And notice the Web of Life of Destiny is here too. So that's a key card for this group. Okay, so now let me go ahead and show you, right? So if I click on just allies, it would show me just the allies. And then, like I said, from there, I can't unclick it. So I don't know how to do that, but I can look at the events, etc. Okay. Now, let's suppose, though, so a lot of times the cards that you want for, say, web warriors are not they don't have the trait. Some of what they have, they actually have it just in the text box. So the way you get the text instead is to use a K. So again, if you look at filter help, you'll see, not K, K is what we had now for traits. You'll see down here near the bottom, it says X for text. So if I just change that to an X instead, and again, remember, no spaces. So you have your X, colon, and then web. And notice, oh yeah, here's now showing up in the upgrades, I have Warrior of the Great Web. So if you look at the top of this card, it doesn't show, it's just a title. It's not a Web Warrior card. But if you look in the text, you see Web Warrior mentioned. So you could add Warrior of the Great Web to your deck in this way. Okay, and at least find it quickly in this way. So I'll just click on the others so you can see what other ones show up in web. So supports, we have the Web of Life of Destiny already added. It shouldn't be any resources or side schemes, but we do have an important event, which is Across the Spider-Verse, an easy one to forget to add to your deck. So doing these kind of searches can also help prevent you from making mistakes like I make often, which is I think I know what cards I'm looking for and I add them, but I forget cards because I didn't bother doing a search like this. Okay, so K is for trait, X is for checking the text, so not the trait itself, right? So a lot of these allies I showed you before, they also mention Web Warrior in the text of it, right? So all of these, it says Web Warrior, notice it Web Warrior in the text. So those are also showing up for this, okay? All right, so we did traits, we did text, and the next thing is there are a lot of decks where you care about what resources are in it. In this particular deck, I don't really care, but there are a lot of decks where maybe you want just a lot of mental resources. So for example, that would be in Wasp. Okay, so Wasp cares about getting a lot of mental resources. Other ones care about energy resources. So if you care about specific resources, the shortcut there, so again, let me go ahead and show you the filter help. So the R for resource, so it's actually going to be 2 letters each time. So you have R for resource, and then the first letter of the type of resource, right? So R for resource, and then P physical. So, and then here's our mental resource, energy resource, wild resource. Now those work a little differently. So the way you can find all of, let's say that I'm looking for mental resources in this case. So I can go ahead and type in resource mental, and then just put a greater than, and then 0. And then it'll show you all the cards. In this case, I'm already clicked on allies, right? So it's showing me all the allies that have at least 1 mental resource. Okay? And then I can click on the events. We can see all of those. Now I'm just on basic, so I'll switch over to other ones too. So all the events that have mental resources, all the side schemes, and now we can finally see, oh, here's Genius that has the double resource. Oh my goodness, I forgot to put the double resources in here. So that's a good reminder, right? So get those other double resources. Okay? And then lastly, I just want to show you, you can also see that, like, let's suppose it's going to be an aggression deck. We can see, click on allies, and now I can see all the mental resource allies that have aggression as well. So, you know, whatever deck you're building for. So there it is. Those were the 3 quick tips. So K for trait, X for text, and then R for resource, and then the type of resource you want, and then just put a greater than 0, and it'll show you all the resources that have more than 0 of that type of resource. Okay, hope those were useful to you. And please like and subscribe if you appreciate this kind of content. And also let me know if you are curious about when it comes to writing your notes, doing a write-up. Because you can always write notes just for yourself, but if you're doing a formal write-up to publish a deck, you might want to know how to do some of the quick formatting cheats. So let me know if you're interested in that, but I'll probably do one of those as well. Okay. Also, please comment. I like having conversations there with whatever somebody might have to say. All right. Have a great one, everybody.